news update on top accolade news. The headlines. New Zealand's proposed treaty bill defeated in Parliament. Trump announces 90-day tariff pause for all but China. King Charles and Queen Camilla meet Pope Francis. Macron announces France's intention to recognize Palestinian state. In politics, New Zealand's proposed treaty bill defeated in Parliament. New Zealand's controversial Treaty Principles Bill, which sought to redefine the 1840 Treaty of Waitangi, has been defeated as its second reading with 112 votes against and just 11 in support. The bill proposed by the right-wing ACT party aimed to legally define the treaty's principle, sparking widespread protests and opposition, particularly from Maori groups. While the bill was backed by some figures, its failures mark a major setback for the party's push to enshrine the treaty principles in law. Prime Minister Christopher Luxon and other political leaders opposed the bill, citing concerns over its potential to divide communities and undermine Maori's rights. The defeat follows an overwhelming 300,000 public submissions, with most opposing the bill. Shifting focus to economy, Trump announces 90-day tariff pause for all but China. U.S. President Donald Trump has announced a 90-day pause on all tariffs for over 75 countries, excluding China. The temporary relief will see tariff held at 10% for most nations, benefiting key exporters like South Africa and Madagascar, while countries like Lesotho, which face tariff as high as 50%, stand to gain significantly. However, tensions with China are intensifying as the U.S. hikes tariff on Chinese imports to 125%, following Beijing's retaliatory move to raise tariff to 84%. From the White House's social media platform, Trump cited China's lack of respect for global markets as the reason behind the sharp increase. Moving to international relations, King Charles and Queen Camilla meet Pope Francis. King Charles and Queen Camilla marked their 20th wedding anniversary at a private meeting with Pope Francis at the Vatican during their state visit to Italy. The Pope, still recovering from illness, welcomed the royal couple, where they exchanged warm wishes and gifts. The King and Queen attended a state banquet hosted by Italian President. Earlier, King Charles made history as the first British monarch to address both houses of the Italian Parliament, delivering a speech calling for unity and defending democratic values amid global tensions. The royal visit has been warmly received across Italy, with crowds gathering to greet the couple throughout Rome. Still in international relations, Macron announces France's intention to recognize Palestinian state. French President Emmanuel Macron announced that France plans to recognize a Palestinian state within the next few months, potentially at a UN conference in New York in June, aimed at resolving the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
Doit permettre aussi à tous ceux qui défendent la Palestine de reconnaître à leur tour Israël, ce que plusieurs d'entre eux ne font pas, d'être clairs pour lutter contre ceux qui nient le droit d'Israël à exister, ce qui est le cas de l'Iran, et de nous engager sur une sécurité collective de la région. Et notre objectif, c'est quelque part en juin, avec l'Arabie Saoudite, de présider cette conférence où on pourrait finaliser le mouvement de reconnaissance réciproque par plusieurs.
Macron emphasized that this move would be part of a broader effort to encourage mutual recognition between Israel and Palestine. While France has long supported a two-state solution, this formal recognition marks a notable change and could strain relations with Israel, which views such actions as premature. Macron also reaffirmed his position to displacement in Gaza and the West Bank, denouncing President Trump's controversial suggestion to transform Gaza into the Riviera of the Middle East. You are watching the Global News Update on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. Still to come. Thanks for staying with us. In conflict, China denies allegation of citizens fighting for Russia. Ukrainian president has alleged that at least 155 Chinese nationals are fighting alongside Russian forces in the ongoing war in Ukraine. Speaking to the media, Zelensky claimed that the Chinese fighters were recruited through social media, trained in Moscow, and provided with documents and payment. This revelation comes after 2 Chinese soldiers were captured by Ukrainian forces earlier this week. In response, a Chinese government spokesperson dismissed the claim, emphasizing that China is not involved in the conflict and advising parties to avoid making irresponsible remarks. Despite Beijing's denial, Zelensky called the involvement of Chinese citizens a serious issue and urged the international community, including the US, to respond to what he sees as a further escalation in the war. Still in conflict, Turkey and Israel hold first meeting on Syria conflict prevention. Turkey and Israel have held their first technical meeting to establish a conflict prevention mechanism aimed at avoiding unintended clashes in Syria, according to Turkey's National Defense Ministry. While the talk marked a step towards reducing tension, Ankara strongly criticized Israel for what it called provocative attacks that threaten Syria's territorial integrity and regional stability. The ministry urged Israel to end its expansionist policy and illegal settlement activities in the West Bank, warning that such action undermines peace and security across the region. In entertainment, UK MPs proposed 5% streaming levy to support British TV production. Streaming platforms like Netflix and Amazon should contribute 5% of their UK subscriber revenue to a new cultural fund supporting British high-end TV, according to a new report from the UK Parliament's Culture, Media and Sports Committee. The report warns that the rise of global streamers is threatening uniquely British storytelling and squeezing out independent producers. Citing hit dramas like Adolescents, MPs stressed the urgent need to protect local content, support freelancers, and address challenges like AI's impact on the creative workforce. While streaming services warn that the levy could hurt investment, the committee argues it's time for big platforms to put their money where their mouth is. Now in sports, IOC makes history with gender parity. The 2028 Los Angeles Olympics will feature a record-breaking 351 medal events, including sprint distance swims and 6 new mixed-gender competitions, following a major announcement from the International Olympic Committee. For the first time, female athletes will have more quoted spots than men, highlighting their commitment to gender equality and modernizing the Games. The Games are set for July 14th to 30th, 2028. That concludes our global news updates for today. Stay tuned for more global news and developments. Thanks for joining us. I am Ojarome Okocha. Connect and engage with us on all our social media handles. Do have a wonderful day.